This is a perfume sample wrapped in bubble wrap, and it smells really good. But that isn't very interesting. Perfumes, colognes, and fragrances are kind of known for smelling good. But what if I told you that, even though it smells really good, you probably don't want to wear this, for the same reason that I keep it in bubble wrap. So let's talk about what this is, how I found it, and why it's a problem. This summer, I saw a post on Instagram, which would normally be the start to the most boring story of all time, but this post gave me pause. It was about this perfume, of course, that's why I bring it up. The post was a compilation of reviews, and each swipe of my thumb revealed new complaints and astonishments. Not that it smells bad, because as I already told you, it smells great. Rather, the complaints were that it was too strong. Single sprays lingering in rooms for weeks, driving occupants hyperbolically insane. A spritz drawing attention and confusion from office coworkers, prompting conversations with management. People throwing out containers because they just couldn't take the scent anymore. It was too powerful, and it lingered too long. Don't worry, we will look at some of those reviews at the end of the video. Let's get something out of the way here. I am not an expert when it comes to fragrances. I have a few scents that I like to wear, but I'm an art guy. I get on YouTube and talk about music and shows and cartoons and creation. Why should you listen to me talk about perfume? Well, I could tell you about this guy. This is John Pegg, perfumer and owner of Kerosene, and I think he could absolutely be classified as an artist. But honestly, it's really just because I have a nose and this shit is insane. So we'll discuss John Pegg as an artist a little bit toward the end of the video. But first, let's talk about when this cute little chemical weapon showed up at my house. So my beautiful wife knows a thing, or hundreds of things, about fragrances. So naturally, I brought this to her attention. Her response, we're ordering it immediately. Now, Followed has a tamer older brother, Follow. Yeah, follow, that doesn't get confusing at all. And actually, it's important to this story. We decided to order small decants of both perfumes so that we could kind of compare them. When they arrived and we were immediately greeted by the overwhelming smell of breakfast, she took Follow and put it in her decant drawer, and I took Followed, wrapped in bubble wrap, and set it on my desk. Right here. Right here. Here. It's right there. It's where it's lived. And we were already pretty amazed with how well we could smell the perfume, despite it not having been sprayed, and having been in this bubble wrap. And if I hold this up to my nose, I can smell it from here. That's crazy. And if you know anything about perfumes and stuff, you know that generally you kind of have to get them right up there for you to be able to smell it, right up to the nozzle. No, I can smell this through bubble wrap from right here. And if I wave it around, it'll really make the room smell like it. Except we actually got them mixed up. Maya handed me Follow for my desk and put Followed into her decant drawer. We noticed later that day when we realized we could smell it in our bedroom. Initially, we kind of wondered if one of us had spilled some on us. But then, upon closer inspection, we just swapped them out. So yeah, Followed has been living uneventfully on my desk for the past year while I try and figure out how to talk about it. I like to pick it up whenever I sit down at my desk to do some work or play some games. It smells fantastic. Really does. Now, I'm really big on gourmand scents. I love to smell like a cafe, bakery, or candy store. But once again, I'm not an expert on fragrances. However, I like to think I have a pretty good nose. And in its kind of current state, just in the sample bottle, it's easy to describe the smell as syrupy. There's a sort of artificial mapleness to it all. It doesn't smell like maple, but of course it doesn't because there's not actual maple in there. But, a little bit of okay. Very breakfast. There's a lot of sweetness. There's some caramel, there's some vanilla. There's a hint of coffee. I will say, on initial spray, the coffee scent is really, really strong, but it's definitely the thing that disappears the fastest. Now, one other thing, I did see some complaints in the reviews. I told you that it smells good, and I stand by that, but there are some who said that it smells like curry. And you know what? I get it. There is a little bit of a curry, liquid aminos, mahi, if you're familiar with that, a little bit of that to it. I won't say that it's that forward. I still will say this is like breakfast in a bottle, but I can definitely understand how people smell it and go, curry. There's a little bit of that. It's almost more like an implied scent, like a ghost note, if you will. Now, those little scent notes that you just heard are actually the thing that have been sitting on my computer now for like a year, because I wrote them pretty much when I first got this in here. And I did more recently, while getting this ready, find an interview with John Pegg, with Fragrantica, where he talks a little bit about what is in this. And it is a coffee base, which makes sense. There is that vanilla and caramel, which I felt, my nose was validated. But there were also notes of amber and cacao. I don't really smell a lot of chocolate cacao-ness to this, no matter how hard I try. I love to think that my nose is good. Maybe it's just kind of adding body and fullness and not really its own scent. And I also, I couldn't tell you what amber smells like. I'm sure I've smelled it before, but I couldn't go oh, it's amber. I just can't. But it is. It's very good, and I'm unwrapping it, and I shouldn't do that. Oops. So, we know kind of how it smells in the bottle, but naturally, we have to try wearing it. So, it is currently Friday, and last Sunday, I decided to wear it to work. Let Sunday Billy tell you a little bit about how that went. Okay, so I just got to work. I've had the perfume on for about 35 minutes, which is essentially the length of my commute. And I am already tired of smelling it. It is so strong. Here's the thing, it smells really good. I'm in my car, I smell myself, I'm damn, that's nice. It smells like coffee, it smells like breakfast, but it is so strong, and I feel bad for what I'm about to do to my coworkers. It is now about 10:30 p.m. I started work at noon today. I have now been wearing Followed for 11 hours. You can still smell it pretty heavy on my wrist, although I don't think I reek of it necessarily anymore. I had multiple people that I work with come up to me and be like, it smells like breakfast. The maple is super, super, super forward. So most people are like, oh, you smell like waffles or pancakes. And I was kind of sick of smelling myself. My nose just has not gotten used to the scent. It's crazy. Let's see. I got home a little bit before my wife. When she came in, she said, all the way up the stairs, I smelled it. I'd gotten home maybe a half hour, 45 minutes before her. Yeah, it's strong. It's really, really damn strong. It's not, as much as I would love to lean into the meme and say, yes, it's a chemical weapon, it has really, really incredible silage, but it's not miserable, because it smells good. It smells like maple. If you don't like the smell of breakfast foods, or coffee or maple, then yeah, you won't like it. But those are smells that I really like. I like to smell like a treat, and I feel like a treat. Will I wear this regularly? Probably not. Definitely a winter scent. It is middle of summer. It's a little tough. It's a little strong for a summer scent. Bold and hearty, and mix that with maybe you get a little bit warm, you get a little bit sweaty. That starts to emanate even further. Yeah, it could definitely be a problem. Luckily, I was not outside very much today, but I could see it being a considerable issue if I had to spend some time outside. But yeah, I just don't see this being something that you could wear regularly. I feel like with multiple applications, if I smelled like this again tomorrow, I feel like it would just, compound and be worse. I don't know. Coming to this point, despite not being a fragrance perfume tuber, I wanted to be able to give you an actual, hey, here's the deal on this. It smells really good, but it is too much. It is too much. It maybe is not as dramatic as some of the reviews will make it out to be, but it is still just, it's too much. It's a lot. I don't really see myself ever wearing it again, except maybe as a bit, right? If I'm going to a party or something and I want to be a nuisance. But I'm being a nuisance, right? When I do that, it's not necessarily pleasant. It smells pleasant, but it's just, there's too much of it. Too strong. So review, Followed, too strong. Fuck. I also want to note, the smell lasted a really, really long time at the spray site. It is still faintly, but definitely on my wrist. Granted, I think I accidentally re-upped yesterday when I re-wore the pants that I was wearing on Sunday. I figure my wrist probably brushed against my hip and transferred some of the perfume onto my pants. Re-wearing the pants yesterday, I noticed that it smelled like breakfast again. So much so that I actually thought that one of my coworkers might be wearing the perfume as well. I think it just kind of re-transferred from my hip back to my wrist. It happens. This all got me curious. Like I mentioned, there are hundreds of perfume bottles and decants in my small home. And if I go to a place where there's a bunch of them just kind of like stored out in the open, then it does smell a little like a perfume store. But this like little bottle is to a factor of 10 stronger than all of them. So naturally, I kind of wondered how that can be. So I did some research, and the most likely culprits are 3 chemical compounds: methylfuranone, methylactone, and sodalone. It seems that all of these compounds have similar scent profiles, but there is some disagreement about which is the source of Followed's truly diabolical sillage and eternal strength. All 3 are known for their potency and capacity to loiter. An interesting thing though, both sodalone and methylfuranone have that fenugreek curry scent in larger quantities, and they really only do the caramely mapley thing at much lower concentrations. Additionally, some people's noses seem to not pick up the maple thing at all, and really only smell curry, even at those much lower concentrations. This would explain a great deal of the complaints about the perfume's curry smell, as there are some whose noses out there only seem to pick up that part of the profile. This is also a potential other reason not to wear it. I actually quite like the smell of curry, but it is one of those historically complained about scents, perhaps due to racism. But still, if it was guaranteed that a couple people every day would think I smell bad, I would probably avoid that smell. And real quick, because there's a small part of me that absolutely loves the drama, one Redditor who kind of talks like they know everything left a comment saying that it was the maple lactone that was the source of, the nuclear grade strength underneath someone else's comment about it likely being the sodalone. And after doing a very academic 2 whole hours of research, while also still very strong, the maple lactone is the weakest of the 3 scents and doesn't seem to have that same curry fenugreek scent to it. Now, it is fully possible that all 3 of these scents are in the perfume, but that research does lead me to believe that the methylfuranone and sodalone are the more likely problem children. However, unless John Pegg decides to grace us with an answer as to what he used in the perfume, we will likely never know. Or perhaps someone out there with a mass spectrometer or NMR could throw some in there and do a little analysis. I don't know how much effort that is. I'm actually very, very, very bad at chemistry. Now, even if he won't give us the answer to our most pressing of questions, I do have some notes regarding the Fragrantica interview with John Pegg. I really like the way this guy seems to work. He is a self-taught indie perfumer. So it makes sense that something that seems to fly in the face of traditional perfumery would come from his mark. He says his inspirations are generally physical rather than emotional. He mentions specifically eating a warm dessert. And you know what? I think that's a really interesting approach to creating art. Because make no mistake, perfumery is an art. It is also a craft. It does have the functional purpose of making one smell good. But with how good scent is at stirring up emotions and memories, it's a really good vehicle for sharing a piece of yourself and your world with others. And I do genuinely feel kind of let into John Pegg's world by this chemical grenade of a perfume. Because I know that at some point, he walked into an awesome cafe or ate some bomb-ass pancakes and felt the need to share that with others. Somehow, though, he managed to turn that experience into a problem. This shit is actually a chemical weapon. I don't know if I can have it on my desk much longer. I'm so scared that, like, one of my cats will get a hold of it and break it on the floor, and it will actually, like, we'll have to move. We'll just have to move. How do you make something this strong? John, please, just tell us what it was. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, there is a short behind-the-scenes/outtakes video that you can watch on the Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to those who already support this channel. It means the world. If what you're looking for is more perfume videos, you probably shouldn't bother subscribing. I likely will not have another one here, maybe ever. But if you just kind of saw me from across the bar, you're fucking with my vibe, maybe you could like the video and tell me what you do to me in the comments. Stupid. Here at the end, I'd like to highlight some of the incredible reviews of Followed, which are the reason that I even tried doing this. Thank you to the writers out there on Reddit and Fragrantica for your incredible prose.
I have to write a second review because this is no longer a perfume. This is a sanitary incident. I went to the hospital at 7 a.m. Spotless floors, white walls, clinical sterility, and me, apparently, spreading a toxic cloud behind me. Followed, really followed me. It moved through the corridors and developed a life of its own. When I came back to reception, there was panic. Nurses whispering, patients joining in. Theories included, something is being cooked, a pipe is burst, something strange is coming from the pantry, someone brought food with ghee. One nurse said, "My eyes are burning." I finally confessed, "Girls, I'm sorry. I think it might be my perfume." I gave them the atomizer. They said, No, yours is just a nice coffee smell. This is clearly some kind of disaster." Conclusion? On skin, it is a sweet, cozy coffee scent. In the sillage, it is a weapon of mass confusion. One spray maximum. I did 4 or 5, and I believe the hospital is still investigating the incident.
I mentioned it a few weeks ago, but my local niche store does not allow customers to spray it in-store or on their body. It must be sprayed on a tester outside that is disposed of before re-entering the building. LOL.
This isn't a perfume. It's a chemical weapon. First, let's just get this out of the way. It smells like maple syrup, full stop. Now, I like maple syrup. I'd even say that I love the smell of maple syrup. But this is the synthetic distillation of maple syrup. It's maple syrup on all of the steroids and maybe meth. I feel like the existence of Followed is a personal attack on Canada, but I may be raiding into it. I have so many questions. Do the people who work at the lab or factory smell like maple syrup after they reach the afterlife? What's the suicide rate for employees of Kerosene? Why was this created, and moreover, who was like, yeah, that's divine. A spray that will last an eternity and be so strong everyone in the country will experience a sort of recoiling from the initial sniff, which will, in fact, be an eternal sniff since this stuff lasts forever. Fuck IHOP and their pancakes. A new fear that I've now unlocked is that somehow I touched my cat and got an atom of Followed on him, and that I will have to bring him to the vet and explain why he reeks of maple syrup. I'm in my 40s, and human beings never cease to astonish me. This perfume is the worst. Please do not get a sample. As was stated in another review, it could be used to close a school or other event if spilled. Use that as you will, but be careful.
A year ago, I bought a sample of Followed and recently found the unopened vial at the back of my closet. It had been stored in a Ziploc bag and hadn't been exposed to light since then. Now the Ziploc bag and that entire corner of my closet reek of what I can only describe as radioactive caramel syrup. This overwhelming scent is a common theme in many reviews, but it bears repeating. It could be classified as its own natural element right next to polonium because it's that potent. I rate this a 2 out of 5 Chernobyls.